So when I was talking to people for this project, I wanted to make sure that I got people that were kind of my age and then some people that were older, like my mom and my sister-in-law and stuff like that. And what I found was really interesting. My friend who's my age had like answers like, we only use 10% of our brain because like if we were to use all of it at once, it would be too much to process. And just like if opposites attract, it's because of chemistry, like two positives repel each other and two negatives repel each other. So she was kind of giving more scientific answers, I guess. But when I asked my mom if we only use 10% of our brains, she said we do because her religion says so, in that we only use 10% of our brain because God has made it so we don't use the rest of it. It's to save for when we die in the afterlife, which was really interesting to me, like how her beliefs have like taught her things that I wouldn't know. And then my sister also used her religion to say that instead of humans having impact on the environment, it's God that does, which I thought was really interesting. And then some of the other things she said were like, because there's studies on it and stuff like that. And then my sister-in-law had some interesting answers. She would say she doesn't care because it doesn't apply to her, so she doesn't really care. Or she would say like, we only use 10% of our brains because that's what other people say and that's what the trend says. So I just think it's really interesting to see like people who maybe don't know, they've just like heard that science proves it, so they just believe it. They haven't done any research for themselves, or that religion comes into play. And I think that's really interesting.